Welcome back, everybody, from the rest hold. We're going to do something different here in the main event. We're going to just go over anything that we want to talk about when it comes to American patriotism in professional wrestling. And there's a lot of different things that have gone on in wrestling that are, very America kind of related and stuff. And, we'll talk about the different events that they've done, the different people that have kind of carried that gimmick behind them, some different feuds that we've seen over the years, just anything that comes to our mind. We're just going to kind of ramble for a little bit and see where this goes. So, first thing that comes to my mind is Hulk Hogan. What do you guys think? If somebody says American and pro wrestling, what pops into your head?
Rednecks.
What, like the South Park ones? The whole...
Pretty much. Someone says America and wrestling, and that's just because of where I grew up, so... That's our stereotype of America as a whole.
America. What about you, Peyton? If somebody just says, United States, America, good connection here, what are you thinking of?
I think of the Great American Bash. That was something that really tied together the feeling of patriotism and summer fun, which is a staple of America, and good old-fashioned wrestling.
Shouldn't they bring that back?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like it as much when WWE took it. I was more a fan of the WCW days of it, but if they can do it and they can do it right, I mean, why the hell not? They want to have all these alternative specials. I think there's a good 5 or 6 WCW pay-per-view titles you could pull from, and that's definitely at the top of the list.
I think we have a very patriotic show happening on the 4th.
Beast in the East. As American as you can get. Let's go to Japan. Okay.
It's broadcasted at 5:30 in the fucking morning.
Yeah. So all the people that are done their whole 4th of July barbecues and stuff like that have already gotten so drunk that they've passed out and everything like that. But I would love to see Great American Bash back. And they don't even need to make it a wrestling event necessarily, like, have like people wrestle on the show. Like, they can make that something different.
It should just be like a big barbecue that all the wrestlers show up to.
They could have Uncle Big E at the barbecue. He could be doing, that kind of stuff.
I'd be fine with it as long as Generation X gets to host the barbecue, because that was actually one of my favorite skits they did, like when they was just doing the PG stuff. They were very...
Stuff.
Yeah, they gotta have DX manning the grill, and they gotta have the APA at the bar.
That'd be great. But, I mean, like, I've been saying before, you can combine the two ideas, Great American Bash and Bash at the Beach. Do a beach kind of thing on, like, around July 4th, and just make it a WWE special. Have, like, we love to see the whole, I think they call it the summer skin thing, where they just constantly plaster in the middle of the summer pictures of the divas in the bikini and stuff. Have everybody lounging around in the beach kind of area, doing some kind of, like, funny promos or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. Great American Bash, we're all having a big cookout, the American spirit. Maybe do a match if you have a ring set up or something like that, or,
Are you kidding me, dude? People would shit all over that.
See, I think it would be a kind of fun thing. I mean, people would shit on it, but people shit on everything. Like, they don't have to make that like a pay-per-view.
I don't think people would watch like a whole event of nothing, just people doing promos on a fucking beach.
Well, not just doing promos. I mean, like, you don't have to make it, let's do a pay-per-view. Like, they've got these, not like they should do like a Swerved or something like that, but they do different kind of TV shows now. They could figure out something to do with that. Maybe even just hold it like a live event where you can like meet and greet wrestlers and stuff like that. Great American Bash at the beach. We're all just going to, chill out at the beach and you guys can pay and meet these people.
VIP type party. That could work.
Like, you don't have to do it on WWE Network. You don't have to do it like an in-ring competition or, titles on the line or anything like that. You can make it something kind of cool like that.
They could finally have a Divas match main event. It could be the Bellas versus Paige and Naomi in a volleyball match.
Volleyball, yeah. Like, why not, They do really weird shit every once in a while. I think that this wouldn't be, like, the weirdest thing, and it would give the guys, like, a little bit of a time off, but they're still kind of doing something. Like, they don't have to be busting their ass. That'd be kind of cool. Vince McMahon's super into the American spirit and stuff. I'm sure he'd like to have a cookout. Let's see what else we have here. Tribute to the Troops. What do you guys think about that? That's something that is very... What?
Well, it's
dumb.
It's a fucking joke, especially now, as because they don't fucking go abroad. I thought it was something cool to do for the troops, but so it's lost all its meaning at this point.
Yeah, the original tribute to the troops where they actually like risked their fucking lives to go put on shows in the middle of fucking Iraq. That was insane. And they actually put a lot of effort into those shows.
And hats off to JBL because a lot of people don't realize, but that was all his idea.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Fancy that. Yeah, now they're just fucking jokes. Now they're just another fucking arena show, and they put a few guys in fucking uniform in the front row.
But now they have their standard 6-man tag match. You know, all the baby faces win every match.
I don't even fucking watch those shows anymore.
No, I don't watch it. I read the results, but I don't watch them because I've watched a couple of them, and they're terrible.
And I feel bad. Like, it probably comes across terrible to say that this thing is, like, so awful, but they really just are atrocious shows.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is supposed to be, like, in honor of them, I'd be pissed. if I was a troop, I'd be pissed.
No, I can see that, too, because it's like, they are really poor. Like, I like that they do this in honor of that. Like, that's nice of them. But they could put more effort into it. You know, like...
I'm just thinking about it. Do you call a singular one a troop?
Yeah.
That just didn't sound right as I said it. Like, you do it for the troops, but can you do something for a troop?
Maybe it's kind of like pants. Like, It's one pair of pants. And if you cut it in half, it's half of a pair of pants, not one pant. So
I used to work at West Point. I should know this.
What if just imagine you, like, people are at West Point, and you're like, hey, General, can I ask you a question? Are you one troop? Like, son, get the fuck out of here. I got a wrestling show to attend. I hear it's going to be fucking awesome. Got a Rey Mysterio, and he's going to do nothing.
Undertaker's going to lift his fist up. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we're going to see the divas, but we're not going to actually see the parts of the divas that we want to see.
Yeah, what's really neat, though, is that I don't know if they still do it, but for a long period, troops got in free to every show. Like, you just showed your military ID, you got a free ticket to whatever it was. That's cool.
They still do.
I'm pretty sure they still do, too. They don't advertise it as much, but I think that's something they still do.
What do you guys think about when they do the shows and they show the people in the crowd that are like that? You think that's kind of warranted, or is it just kind of...
It's pandering. I mean, that's something else about Tribute to the Troops I didn't even mention. It's all publicity and pandering.
See, I've got my own opinions on armies and fucking governments and all that bullshit, so as far as what it means to me, it's going to mean a lot more to somebody else, so no, I'll leave it at that.
You kind of in the same boat that I am, where I appreciate that other people are fighting for my rights, but I also don't support damn near anything that anybody does.
Yeah, it's like half the shit they're fighting for, it's sometimes on grounds that I don't agree with or stuff that I don't agree with, but I can appreciate that they're signed up to do it, because if they weren't, we might still have a draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, by no means am I ever going to go into the military. I never thought about it whatsoever, and, you know, for the people that get into it and they do it for the right reasons, I appreciate that, but there's so many people that are blind patriots in a lot of ways, or blindly against it too.
And here's the thing,
both sides are terrible.
I don't consider every fucking member of the army a hero. I think that phrase has passed way too much around.
Just like every cop is not a hero.
Guess what? A lot of these guys are just kids that have no fucking skills, and that was the last option to them.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't want to sound like I'm shitting all over the armed forces. I'm not. It's just I'm not going to be the same as patriotic and overjoyed about it as someone else who... I'm sure this event means a lot to certain people, but it just doesn't for me.
Did you know that patriotism wasn't really a thing until, like, the mid-1800s? It's still, like, a really new concept.
Right.
That's like just mind-boggling with like how that's all we fucking talk about when we go to war now. It's all based on patriotism, but that wasn't a concept used until like the mid-1800s by fucking England, you assholes.
It's a buzz thing, you know. It's just like not to say it's like a mind control, but it kind of is. It's a way for people to think that they're supporting something and get into it in like...
Once upon a time, you know, people would go to war for a real fucking reason. Hey, we need that land. Hey, they got this fucking thing we want, and we want it. Hey, they wronged us. Hey, they raped our fucking women. Then eventually it evolved into, hey, they worship a different god than us, and things got really screwy there. Then it just got to a point of, let's bomb them because fucking we're awesome.
And that's what's kind of sad when it comes to a lot of fans, and you kind of see it in wrestling a little bit with the tribute to the troops and stuff, where it's just kind of like, they're American, yay! Like, there's this underlying thing that happens. We've seen it time and time again, and we even saw it this year with Rusev and John Cena and stuff. It's the evil foreigner and the heroic American. You never really see it the opposite way. It's always the American's the hero for the most part.
I feel like there was a situation where that happened once and it was really fucking funny. Oh yeah, Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger and fucking Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Huh.
Like, freaking Alberto Del Rio's coming, this is the land of opportunity, and Jack Swagger's like, no, this is America, and everyone's like, boo!
Well, not everybody. Because you always did hear when the real Americans were baby faces, you hear people like Zeb Coulter's just kind of like, I don't like anybody who doesn't look like me, and you hear people in the crowd like, yeah, fuck people that look different, and then you're like, that's not the message that they're going for. Like, you know? Like, somehow this is turning into a race war, and he's just kind of going like, I fought in Vietnam, or what was it, Kuwait, or Vietnam, or Korea, or
probably both. All three.
World War I, fucking.
Zeb Coulter's the fucking man.
He fought the dinosaurs and shit. I was in the First War, goddammit.
I'm pretty sure he killed Hitler.
Oh, good man.
He was best bros with George Washington. It was pretty cool. He almost was able to save Lincoln from John Wilkes Booth, but he was too busy twirling his mustache.
Real facts. But that was a real odd situation with the real Americans being heels. But eventually they did turn babyface, and then it became, you know, the stereotypical kind of way that we would assume it would be. But were you guys into the real Americans before or after that? Or hell, for the most part, were you even into the all-American, American, whatever that Jack Swagger was doing? Did that mean anything to you, that he's an all-American and he's got the whole, you know, people kept doing the whole thing where he was like, he's the next Kurt Angle and stuff. Just into that.
I think you're blowing it up just because it has American in it. Doesn't mean he was like patriotic. Like it was more exploiting the fact that he was a collegiate athlete.
Well, I mean, that's WrestleMania when he won Money in the Bank, he came out the red, white, and blue stuff. You know.
Yeah, but it still wasn't like a major thing.
It wasn't as big as like the Real Americans thing by far.
Right. Yeah. And the Real Americans was fucking awesome.
I've never been into Jack Swagger. I've enjoyed Zeb Coulter's work. I've never cared for Jack Swagger, and I never will.
Not even his theme?
I mean, that's not being into him, that's being into Jim Johnston's work. It's like, I don't know what it is. I think mainly it's that he looks goofy. It's the same reason that I'll never buy Big E as something legitimate other than a comedy character.
He does. He looks like he could be the son.
And to be fair, back when he had the one haircut, the Solo Monster brought up one thing. He was like, yeah, he kind of looks like a dyke, and I'm like, he does kind of look like a really butch lesbian, you're right.
Just to be clarified, we're talking Jack Swagger, not Big E, right?
Yeah.
Because Big E doesn't look anything like Gary Busey.
So,
just wanted to make sure there.
Yeah, fucking, there's certain guys I just can't get past for their looks. And that he's just one of them.
Fucking shallow bastard.
What did you guys think of the Swagger Soaring Eagle?
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, again, I was into the eagle, not him.
Good old Chavo. Spirit of the Swagger Soaring Eagle. But they've had a couple different people that have carried on that kind of a thing. I mean, there's some people that's their entire gimmick. I mean, we mentioned in the Ask Him, the Patriot. Patriot came in, Bret Hart's got this Canada thing, and immediately the Patriot is main eventer. And then, you know, it didn't last that long, but people bought into that just because it's the Patriot. It's like...
It was so weird because we were in a time of peace.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to create a character like that in wartime. Like, you know, they rallied people up for Hogan and Slaughter during the Iraqi war. You can even go further back in time and find different allusions to that. I mean, of course, during the 9/11, they got all types of people involved coming out with American flags. Even The Undertaker came out with a fucking American flag. It's fucking ridiculous. But we were, like, at the highest point of prosperity for America, There was no reason to like have a character like that, and there it was, and it worked. It was awesome.
What was always really weird to me about that, though, like, that was the gang war thing that they were setting up. You had the Nation of Domination, which was, they were what, they started out as something that wasn't like the Black Panther-y type of thing, but it was something else. I can't remember.
Oh, no, they did.
It wasn't the, shit, I can't remember. Like, Crush was in it and stuff, you know?
Yeah, so
it was, you know, not exactly the same type of, like, they switched it around a little bit. They made it a little bit harder.
It was always like that. Actually, it was harder at the beginning. They lightened up as it went on.
They got a little bit more, like
at the beginning, they had 3 white people. They had Crush, and they had those what's his name, Wolfie D, and the other guy.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Well, Wolfie D and
I don't fucking know. It's not
that other guy.
Yeah. But
Vega.
Yeah. If you listen to Farouk's promos very early on, they were very, very rigid and borderline like white hate.
But like, they were representing kind of like civil rights movement, American time period kind of stuff. And we had the Hart Foundation, which was like Canada's the best, fuck America. And then we had the representatives of America were DX, the douchebags. The ones who are like, they're kind of the baby faces to us, but they're complete heels still. And if you look at that, that's kind of interesting that it wasn't like the full-blooded American team. I mean, they did do that kind of stuff. They had like, how many Survivor Series teams have been built on that concept?
Yeah, they had the Union.
They had that one with Vader and Goldust and whatever. Mark Marrow, I think, was a part of that. And Undertaker, even shit, Undertaker did that too. He was in damn it, the name of the American team that fought the Foreign Fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
It was like '93 or something like that. But they've done that kind of stuff in the past. But it's like DX. Those are the Americans. Those delinquent bastards and stuff. I always thought that was kind of interesting. But you mentioned Hulk Hogan and Slaughter, though, 2 big American icons when it comes to wrestling, and how crazy was that when Slaughter turned? I mean, they're getting, like, death threats and stuff, and they toyed around with that war, man.
I think they made a lot of that up.
You think?
I think they made that up to sell the angle.
I could see people doing that, the way that people are.
No, I think kayfabe was already dying too much by that point. I think they made that up just to sell that angle. Just like they made up the whole bomb threat just because they couldn't sell tickets for that bigger arena. I think that was all just made up.
I don't know. The arena one, I would buy into more than that they didn't get any death threats.
You really think someone's going to call and threaten Sergeant Slaughter?
Yeah.
Where would they even get his number? They didn't have the internet back then.
You've seen some of the weird messages that I get. Imagine WWE and fucking around with some of the people that are into that. I mean, not to stereotype, but a lot of people that are into like the hardcore American patriotism are also the ones that are like, when 9/11 happened, I had people that were, you know, I'm a 9th grader in a freshman in high school, and there's people that are in my classroom watching this go down and go, we should bomb all those people in all those other countries, and we should just nuke all those, and, you know, spitting out a whole bunch of racist kind of statements and stuff like that. And it's like, whoa, we
gotta nuke something.
What's happening? And people are immediately like, in American pride, fight back, blow everything up.
Yeah, well,
you know?
To be fair, weren't they right?
About that we should have done that, or
no, that those are the people responsible.
I don't know. I mean, you can argue that America's at fault a little bit for that too, but
those were the guys in the planes. Say who you will, who might have paid them or put them up to it. Those were the guys in the planes.
Yeah, but I mean, people were saying we should nuke like everybody in the Middle East.
Why the fuck not? It's just a giant fucking ashtray.
So you would be the type of person that would send something to Slaughter then, I guess?
No, because he knows wrestling's fake.
That's true. But now I could see somebody doing that. I mean, people get pissed over the stupidest things. People fight Chris Jericho for no reason in the middle of a parking lot and stuff. People are, you know, they'll send death threats to TV shows all the time about, like, you killed off my favorite character and I'm gonna fucking, if I ever find you, I'm gonna, you know.
The best was that dumb American who yelled at Chris Jericho, "Go back to Toronto."
Yeah.
He said, "From Winnipeg, you idiot."
That was good. I could see that happening, though. And I mean, you ruffle enough feathers, you get under people's skins when it comes to American pride. A lot of people are really sensitive about that stuff. It's kind of a shame. But was that a good angle? Do you guys think that was like the best way they could have handled that? Something that always bugged me about it was Hogan wiping his blood on the freaking flag. I know, like, I'm not the type of person that goes into that whole, like, the flag can't touch the ground, or else, you know, the demons are going to kill you or some shit. I don't know what the hell happens with that. But that always seemed kind of weird that people are very, like, superstitious about that, and Hogan's, like, wiping his fucking face off, you know?
I'm not a big fan of the patriotic angles. They don't appeal to me, so I've not really got much more to say. Payton's more into that time frame than I was, so maybe ask him.
I wasn't watching at that point either. I only know about it retrospectively. I know it was a very hot angle and very timely and very smart of them to do it, and who would have fucking saw that coming? You know, the guy who's been an army general turning and joining the fucking Middle Eastern guys, and like completely, like, didn't he change his name? Oh no, Iron Sheik changed his name.
Iron Sheik, yeah, General Adnan.
Why?
Why did he do that? Yeah, that never made any sense to me. He was already established as the Iron Sheik.
Oh God, some of these things they do sometimes just confuse me.
Like, it wasn't like the Skip Sheffield Ryback thing, or like, you know,
it's a fucking former world champion.
Yeah, Nikki from the Spirit Squad comes back as Dolph Ziggler because they don't want anybody to know that he was Nikki. It's like, he was the Iron fucking Sheik, and he feuded with Hulk Hogan. So it made perfect sense. And they're like, nah, he's General Adnan. Okay, why? I don't know. He bumped up in the world.
And the worst thing about it is like at the end when it was all over, Sergeant Slaughter is just like, "I want my country back." And he's just a babyface again, just showing how fucking like simpleton all the fucking patriots are. And it's like, all right, he's praising America again. Good, woo.
Hey, what'd you say about America? I said I love it again. All right, buddy.
That's what I thought. All right, have a fucking beer.
Yeah, here's a beer, goddammit, and a burger. It's a great American bash.
Here's a beer. Let me open it. Oh, no can opener. I got my gun.
I love how we all did the same voice. It's like America has this melting pot of all these people that speak different languages and all these different areas, and it's still just America. I live in America Town. Let's see. What do you think about the Lex Express? Speaking of this kind of era, they tried to really get behind Lex Luger as like an American icon.
Yeah, he's a jacked up, talentless hack that was like it was always going to fail. So fuck Lex. I feel like got no positive opinion on him.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair either. Lex Luger actually was really good in the late '80s and the NWA days, and I think when WWE picked him, he was a really major coup for them. The problem was he got in an accident, and that just fucked him up, and he was never the same afterwards.
The only accident was that they gave him a push.
Okay.
I think he should have won the Intercontinental title. Actually, shit, if they would have had the U.S. title around that time, that would have been perfect. Imagine the Lex Express.
Pretty sure they did have the U.S. title around, and he won it in NWA.
Yeah, you know, not in WWE, though. Like, imagine the Lex Express, the United States champion, Lex Luger.
He never did that USA stuff in WCW. He was just...
Yeah, he's just like
generic big guy. Like, he didn't like have any of that Americana stuff.
Yeah.
Just imagine if all the fucking disqualification wins that guys got on Raw had the same celebration that Lex Luger had for his on Yokozuna.
People went nuts. He beat him by DQ. Oh my god.
Yeah. No, but that's a testament to how over Lex Luger was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's the first statement. But I think he had a ceiling. He hit it, and then he didn't have the skills to stay afloat.
To be fair, he filled the role they needed him to at the time. They were in a shitty spot. That was like right when Hulk Hogan left.
Well, let's put it in a positive light. Didn't do fucking worse than Kevin Nash.
I mean, that's also around the same time they actually went back to Bob fucking Backlund.
Yeah.
They went back to a relic from the fucking 70s.
Man. And then they just jobbed him out to fucking Kevin Nash.
As they probably should have.
Yeah. I don't think he ever should have won that title.
Really?
No, he never should have.
Hmm.
I mean, at least he won it in like a dubious fashion.
He did? I thought it was pretty decisive.
It was the whole throne in the towel.
Oh, you're talking about Backlund.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
No. Kevin Nash definitely should have won.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude, what the fuck? You don't think Diesel should have won the title?
Oh, no. Shit. He definitely deserved to win that. And it was great that he beat the shit out of Bob Backlund because it looks so funny when you look back on that. He powerbombs and then he's just kind of like, yeah. I'm fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's like celebrating like a 5-year-old kid, but he's this big, tall, overgrown freak of a human being.
Right. I like that though. The thing though, with Bob Backlund, like the whole running for president kind of.
Oh, that was fantastic. Yelling at the plebeians. I remember I used to get the old WWE magazine, and it had like a test in it. Are you a plebeian? And it had all these questions like name the 22nd president, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. And it says you are.
Taft?
Really?
Garfield? I don't know. I
now.
always just assume that it's one of the people that nobody ever knows anything about.
Grover Cleveland.
Huh. One of the other guys. I mean, really, there's like 10 presidents. Like,
you know what? I was watching this special on what was the special? It's a documentary on Netflix about the U.S. presidents, and they actually got to President, I think it was William Harding, and I'm like, that wasn't a president. Really?
When you said William right there, I'm like, William Clinton?
Yeah, I was like, I consider myself a pretty knowledgeable person, and I never fucking heard of this guy. And sure enough, I researched, like, yeah, this guy was a fucking president. He was only president for, like, 2 years, and he fucking died in office. And they even pretty much said there he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing of note, and that's why he's, like, completely forgettable. I'm like, okay, this is why I never heard of this guy.
Yeah, it's different when people are like, all right, name the presidents. They're like, all right, Lincoln, Washington, whoever the most current president is, whoever came before that president. And you start getting into, like, okay, well, we know about Jackson. We know about Jefferson. And then normally people will go, Ben Franklin? And it's like, nope. But if you're like, William Harding, whatever, sure, that guy. You know, I'm pretty sure Bob Backlund won too. What do you guys think of Hacksaw Jim Duggan? He's somebody who has carried around the American patriotism.
I never understood what was so American about this guy, other than he's just like an overweight schlub.
I never got it either, and I never understood
What's the point of the 2x4?
Yeah, or the 2x4, yeah.
And what that has to do with fucking America. And how come they never just put an American flag on the 2x4?
Supposedly the reason behind that is the whole walking tall thing. Remember that movie that came out with The Rock?
What? That came out like 20 years after Jim Duggan.
That was a remake. But it was a remake of that, and in that he used this as a 2x4, and Hacksaw thought it was cool. So that's the 2x4.
Huh.
But when he comes out and he's got, you know, the whole USA, and he's carrying around the flag and the 2x4. Like,
get it?
Is this supposed to be like representing American construction workers? Or just like American pride? We love wooden planks.
People fucking ate it up, though.
They did. They still do. Think about when we went to Royal Rumble. Those people behind us in the line.
Oh, God.
Just kept going, oh, fucking 20 minutes straight.
Yeah, I try not to think about that.
That keeps you up at night. He always came out with this whole real American thing, and I never got the American thing either. What do you think about that, Wago? Does he strike you as, like, representative of America?
Greasy, ugly, not in shape? Yeah. No, he doesn't. He's just the description of what I gave you. He's just fucking ugly.
Easy.
Yeah, fucking. Yeah, we need the sound clip of bubbles of that, just saying that, because that is the perfect description of him. Greasy.
So what else that we didn't talk about is there about American patriotism in wrestling? Anything that stands out to you guys?
Well, specifically, I mean, you mentioned Hulk Hogan, but the most patriotic thing about Hulk Hogan is his fucking theme song.
That's true. We didn't talk about that.
Real American is such a fucking awesome song.
It is.
Like, I think that song far surpasses Hulk Hogan in how iconic it is to wrestling. Like, that song, it's... Did Jim Johnson write that, or was that actually fully Rick Derringer?
Yeah, Derringer.
I know Derringer performed it, but did he write it?
I think that he did. I don't think Johnston had anything to do with it.
Whoever fucking did it, it's a fucking amazing song. Like, you could put that over anybody, and they're gonna get like super cheered, and it's gonna be super excited. Fucking Patterson and Briscoe came out to that fucking song. People loved it. Fucking Obama. It's such a representative song of America that President Obama came out to it to one of the Democrats' conference.
He did?
Yeah.
Did he do the pose?
I think he left his jacket on too. No.
Oh. It's a shame. He should have just ripped the jacket. Just fucking rips the suit. That's a great theme, though. I never liked American Made, though.
It's like the same song.
It's close enough that it's basically the same song, but it's like, I don't know, there's something about it that I just never really hit it off with me.
Whatever. I think it's like the exact same song.
Like the TNA ripoff of Booker T's theme and stuff, like, I don't know. You like Real American Wago?
Tight.
What about American Made?
Nah, kind of lame.
What about American Males?
Yeah.
American Males.
Hey, we can finally talk about Buff Bagwell.
So, about Buff Bagwell, huh?
Buff Wagwell.
Buff Wagwell.
Wagbell. Buff Wagbell.
I kind of want to talk about Buff Wagbell now. How about that, Buff Wagbell?
Another day.
Go ahead.
No, I said another day.
I thought we were saying the other day. We had a Buff Wagbell story. Man, you don't believe it. The other day, Buff Wagbell, he was going up to... American Males. Anything stand out to you guys?
They had a theme song.
Indeed they did. Now, see, I don't have that much information about, like, anything that went on in ECW or WCW for really, like, American kind of things, because I never really watched it all that much, but, obviously WCW had their American stuff, too. I mean, we mentioned Great American Bash.
Wait, and here's the thing about the Great American Bash, too. Like, a lot of people know it just as a pay-per-view, but that's not really, like, what the Great American Bash was. The Great American Bash actually used to be a tour. Like, it was a thing that went all through the summer, hitting all the big cities that were in the Jim Crockett territory. And they would put on this big show. And every year they would release a DVD that was like an anthology of all the best matches from it. And the Great American Bash is actually where the War Games started. All the early War Games matches actually took place on the Great American Bash circuit.
Typical Americans. You do a bash and you start a war. Even in that. I didn't know that about that, though. I always thought that it was just a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
How long was it before they turned it into a pay-per-view? Didn't you know?
I think that was in the Bill Hurd days, so that was probably like 92, 93.
Well, I'm tapped out for American Pride and stuff. Do you guys think, it's the last topic that I have, unless you guys have anything to bring out there. Do you guys think that there is a place for it now compared to back in the day? Like, this whole Rusev thing that happened, and that got over pretty well, but I would imagine that everybody would kind of agree that it was nowhere near as big as some of the other things we've had in the past. Is this something that it's kind of dying out?
Well, they also didn't really fully get behind it, and we're also not really in that heavy of a conflict with Russia. Like, the tensions with Russia are, like, so light. Like, people are not really worried about Russia, so they weren't really able to capitalize on that as much. If we were really at war with an enemy, they could totally do it. I mean, look what they did with Muhammad Hassan. That guy had incredible heat. So much so to the point where they had to pull his fucking character.
Wago, any thoughts about this?
Muhammad Hassan was fucking awesome. That's about all I gotta say.
And again, that got ruined because of something in fucking England. Thanks, England.
Yeah, come on, Wago.
Or was it France? Even worse.
I think it was the London bombings, but it was it
was the subway thing.
Here's the thing. It wasn't because English people complained. It was because American people complained, because you're a bunch of fucking pansies.
I still blame Wago. Alrighty, guys. Well, 4th of July's coming up. Hopefully you've got some nice barbecues going on and stuff like that. Maybe a good old Great American Bash of your own.
And don't forget to stop by Drew White's pyro stand.
And leave a comment below. Anything you guys got on your mind about the American stuff that we were talking about here. And I'll try to specify here, keep the politics a little bit low, because I'm sure people will be arguing back and forth about that. We talked a little bit about it during this, but I don't want it to become a whole Republican versus Democrat thing or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to go ahead and say that all Confederate flags are banned from the comment section.
Very much so. So leave those comments below. Tell us what you think about this. Tell us what you think about the idea of us doing these kind of things a little bit more often and not having to stick to, like, you know, a top rope list or something like that. You know, if you like it, we'll do more. If you don't,
oh my
we won't
God,
do as many.
They should do that. They should do a Confederate flag sympathizer character. They should have a guy come out with like Zeb Coulter. Like Zeb Coulter should turn and he should start being like talking about how the country was right to secede.
I'd be perfectly fine with that, but without Jack Swagger.
No, it doesn't have to be Jack Swagger. I'm just saying they should have Zeb.
Yeah,
if anything, you should have Jack Swagger feud with the guy.
Yeah, that'd actually be great.
Yeah, except I want the guy to actually go on to do good things.
Yeah,
well, he could beat Jack Swagger.
Yeah, you can like drop him out.
Who do you think that would be good for that? Because you can't just put like anybody in there.
You know what? James Storm.
Yeah?
Wow. Yeah.
You know who would be the best for it, though, and I hate to say it, is that fucking Briscoe asshole from Ring of Honor.
Briscoe. Oh,
you're on about the one,
the former world
Briscoe
champion?
Brothers. Yeah, I don't.
The fucking the homophobic one that like got fucking
Jay?
fired for telling it's not cool to teach his kids that gays are okay.
Jay Briscoe, is that it?
I don't know. Sure. There's Jay and Mark Briscoe. I don't know. I think Jay was the champion.
Yeah, he'd be absolutely perfect for that character. In fact, Ring of Honor should get on that shit if WWE's not.
Do you think Destination America would be cool with that?
That'd be the perfect place to do it.
But then they've also got to worry about Sinclair too.
They could be like, we're seceding from Destination America. They could do that in TNA.
That's how they get around saying that they got released from their contract. They'll be like, TNA seceded from Destination America because they got control.
That must have been weird saying TNA and succeeded in the same sentence.
I caught myself at that. I was like, wait, TNA succeed? I don't say this.
Confederate Wrestling Association. Rebrand.
What do you think about this idea, too? Leave a comment about that below. Who should play the Confederate sympathizer, and what should their gimmicky name be? Something E. Lee, maybe.
Big E. Lee.
Big E. Lee. Oh, man. I could imagine that being super funny of a character, Big E. Lee. He's got like the fake beard, the Robert E. Lee beard and shit.
Like, you know how he has his the straps on his costume? That could be like the two like bars on the fucking Confederate flag.
Yeah, predominantly red singlet.
Yeah, with the two bars going up the singlet. Oh, that'd be perfect.
Big E. Lee. He's not invited to the Great American Bash cookout though.
So all right, guys, let's do a segment on patriotism. Woo, Confederate!
Alrighty, guys, we are gonna come back with the Fantasy League. None of us can draft Big E. Lee, unfortunately, but let's see if we can do any trades or anything else like that in the next part. Stay tuned. Click on that next video. We will be right back.